Rochester Pioneers have lost 3 of their last 4, clinging to the lead in the Metro Division. Montana has also lost 3 of their last 4. Who turns their season around tonight? Tennessee has shown signs of a turnaround. A win and a double overtime loss in the last 2 weeks is something to build on. But they welcome St. Louis to town tonight, arguably the hottest team in the UFL. And there's a buzz around the Florida Sharks tonight after their Mother's Day upset win over Dallas. Portland gets their first crack at the Sharks, winners in front of their fans for the first time this season. We'll watch it all tonight in the virtual zone. Week 9 begins here on VFN. Right now, sit back and enjoy the glory of 3 times the football as 90 minutes of UFL action starts now. We've already had kickoff in Daytona Beach, in Tennessee, in Montana. We are underway, and welcome back to UFL action tonight. I am UFL co-founder Cameron Irvine. We've got Rochester at Montana, St. Louis at Tennessee, Portland at Florida. Settle in. It should be a good night tonight, as we have also Cincinnati and Dallas in prime time later tonight with Josh Zirkle and Eric Vinson. Let's get to the action. Wednesday Night Football is right. Welcome to Kane Vasquez, Think Outside the Box, Swan, Mississippi, Justin Reside, Evan Wood, Robert Henson, and many more here on Game Night tonight. Portland is in their white tops with purple pants. The alternate yellows at home for Florida on the hot days with the white pants. St. Louis in the white-red combo, all navy for Tennessee today as Karen Koizumi throws it outside, incomplete. It'll be third down there. Rochester in the red pants with the white jerseys and the navy look with gold pants for Montana. It'll be a third down for Rochester. That's where we start our audio this evening. If you're experiencing Game Night for the first time, or maybe in many other times, you can also watch these games in full in the videos section of UFL. In case you want to listen to me call all 3 games while watching your game in full all at the same time, it is possible. St. Louis on a third down and 8 throws it 1 yard short of the sticks. Nice open field tackle for Tennessee. Casey Mears has 3 carries on Rochester's first 3 plays, and the Pioneers have a first down. Eric Vinson, welcome back, and looking forward to you being on the call later this evening. Of course, UFL Bingo is live. We've got 4 corners and diagonal tonight here on Game Night, and then any bingo wins in prime time. And we got a special for you on Friday during Game Night as Blackman drops to throw for Portland. What do you think of this? If you win Friday, if you win on Game Night, you will receive an additional card for primetime. If you win on Game Night, you will receive an additional card for primetime. That is a special for Friday, so you're not going to want to miss Friday's action just ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. Emmanuel Blackman has Portland across the 50 and down to the 25-yard line, so let's go there. The Portland Huskies have a 16-yard completion to Willis, and that offense is near the red zone. Good start for Portland, who does not come in with a lot of momentum. Florida certainly does after their big upset win over Dallas. Portland has lost 3 of 4. So is Rochester. So is Montana. Tennessee also losers of 3 of their last 4, and technically Florida is 2. Portland hands off to a now unclaimed wide receiver 1 spot. That's Teray Wright. Unclaimed starting running backs in Portland and Tennessee tonight. Also an unclaimed quarterback in Tennessee. That's George Snyder, and he's got the football right now on third down and 6, and that pass is complete for a Tennessee first down. There goes Wright around the left side from 24 yards out. Touchdown, Portland. Our first score of the evening on a broken tackle to Ray Wright. Down the left side for Portland, gets the early score and the jump on the Florida Sharks. That was a rare miss from Harrison Quick on the outside. Extra point pending for Portland. As that kick is up and good, an 8-play, 69-yard, 3-minute and change drive for the Portland Huskies. Nice start for their offense. Teray Wright in his first game back with the team, 31 yards on his first 4 carries. Rochester, who was given the option once again to boost their punter this week, shanks a punt out of bounds to the 29-yard line. There's a few teams that have had an option to improve their punting, including Montana, and we have not seen any teams take us up on that offer. 3rd down and 10 for Tennessee in a scoreless game. As Snyder has time in the pocket, fires down the sideline, intercepted. Pass picked off by Clements for St. Louis. An early Tennessee turnover. Clements is just off the interception leaderboards, which are led by Rain Rie and unclaimed defensive backs Darius Alian of Washington, John Howard of Wichita, Adam Watts of Phoenix, and Aaron Willis of Salt Lake. Portland got that extra point, so they are now up 7-0 over Florida. And if you missed our stat leaders stats through the first 8 weeks of the season, they're now up in your upper right-hand corner. So St. Louis off the interception with the football. It'll be 2nd down and 4. On 3rd down and 11, Rochester swats away the pass of Blake Green, who's off to an 0-for-2 start. Florida gives it off to Sauce K. 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Sharks, who, as a defensive team, Florida, I think a little bit surprised that they gave up that opening score touchdown. I would venture to say that's one of, if not the first time this season they've done that. Florida runs on 3rd and short, and Sauce K is stuffed in the middle, so a 4th down there. St. Louis converts on their 3rd down conversion and will keep the drive alive. Rochester up to the 35-yard line. Michael Torillo checking in from his hotel room. Let's go Sharks. Covering the SWAC baseball tournament, I do believe. Ernest McCrae is in the house to chant on his St. Louis Rivermen. I think outside the box, happy with that Portland touchdown, and Florida's got to punt it away. Casey Mears is in the open field for Rochester, gets about 9 yards. Koizumi a little bit off the mark there. Will set up a 2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Michaela Foraker with 14 sacks on a blistering pace. Koizumi takes off and runs and lost the ball. It's recovered by St. Louis at the Tennessee 31-yard line, and that's Homer J with the heads-up play. Emmanuel Blackman is the quarterback for Portland, 4 of 5 for 46. Let's see, did Karen? That could be overturned. We'll see. This is another run for Mears down the sideline, 47 yards on 6 carries in the first 6 minutes for Rochester's running game. Buchanan makes the tackle. Portland's across the 50-yard line, picked up 26 on that last reception. That's unclaimed wide receiver 2, Dwayne Knight. That is Junior McCrae's first carry of the day for St. Louis. Up to 53 total yards. It's 3rd down and inches on the Tennessee 22-yard line. We have not had a single red zone appearance yet in the game so far. This is Koizumi down to the 7-yard line. And just as I say that, there it is. Blackman on a rollout. Sacked by Marshall. Hand off to Mears, and it looks like Matt Wilson's going to have to throw the football. Rochester's been very run heavy here in the opening quarter. How about Rob Crone? 20 passing touchdowns. Junior McCrae leads the league. It's not even close with 10 rushing touchdowns. He could get 11 here. On this possession, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. It'll be a play action rollout, and Koizumi into the end zone. Touchdown, Homer J. As Everidge gets Rochester into the red zone. Homer J with the score for St. Louis. For Jay, that is touchdown number 4. He leads all pass catchers for the Rivermen. St. Louis strikes first, but unfortunately for the Yugo players, a 7-yard touchdown there.
The previous play is under review.
We got a booth review in St. Louis. Let's go to the red zone trip for Rochester as they pitch that one out to Casey Mears, who breaks a tackle in the backfield and manages to make something out of nothing. Meanwhile, Portland is threatening in the red zone again. That pass caught by unclaimed wide receiver 3 Bobby Conley. Emmanuel Blackman is on fire to start the game, and Florida's ever-reliant defense is really struggling in the opening quarter. Surprisingly, here's Casey Mears from 6 yards out. Touchdown, Pioneers. Extra point is good for St. Louis. And for Casey Mears, that is touchdown number 3 on the season. This is Teray Wright up the middle of the field for Portland, into the red zone for the Huskies, down to the 8-yard line. Eight-play, 65-yard drive for Rochester. They take a 7-0 lead. St. Louis up 7-0. Portland up 7-0. Let's go to Florida, where Portland's on the move. The Sharks bopped on the nose here in the first quarter. This is a very surprising. Emmanuel Blackman from his 8-yard line checks that one down to the 1. Blackman 7 of 8 for 109 yards in the first quarter of work. And Knight is already up to 53 yards on 4 grabs unclaimed. The unclaimed quarterback for Tennessee, George Snyder, not off to a good start. 1 of 3 for 12 yards and a pick. 16 total yards for Tennessee. And off to Sherman for the Ramblers. He's up to 7 yards on 3 carries. Here we go, 2nd and goal at the 1 for Portland. Play fake, Blackman has time. Emmanuel Blackman checks it down and scores a touchdown from 1 yard out. And that again is Dwayne Knight for the score. The Portland Huskies, 13-0, have scored touchdowns on their opening 2 possessions. This is the polar opposite, I think, of what Florida was hoping for to start tonight's festivities. The extra point is good, and it is 14-0. And we got our first 5 numbers off the card so far tonight. Let's go to Montana, where Jason Williams has a first down up to the 40-yard line, 12 yards on 3 carries for the star back in Montana. Jason Williams said to be dealing with some leg soreness at practice this week. Has been struggling making that first cut, getting off the ball. We'll keep an eye on Williams tonight as he jukes inside but can't find a lot of space. 2nd down and 5 for Tennessee coming up. Let's jump over there where the Ramblers trail 7-0 early to St. Louis. No surprise there. Hand off to unclaimed halfback Maurice Stokes, up to 9 yards on 4 carries. Tennessee trying to hammer the run game on St. Louis, but the Rivermen have been mostly all over it. Blake Green just threw his 3rd straight incompletion. 3rd down and 9 coming up for Montana. They do not have a single passing yard. Sauce K is dragged down in the backfield, and Snyder's got a completion over the middle for Tennessee. That's a first down, and that's Stokes out of the backfield. Montana's star receiver, K. Marion, cannot come up with that last attempt, and Blake Green is 0 for 4 to start the ball game. Montana's defense stepping up so far tonight, and that was an excellent knockaway by Rochester's defense. That was Joe Allen, who manages to get a paw in there late on the Silvertips. Second down and 11 for Florida, quickly down 14-0. None of the home teams have scored in the opening quarter. Sauce K takes the handoff and is dropped for a loss. The home teams are all underdogs tonight. Tennessee is 7.5-point dogs. St. Louis is clearly your hottest team playing on game night tonight, since everyone else have lost 3 of their last 4. They are touchdown plus favorites over Tennessee tonight. Florida, a 2.5-point dog against Portland. Montana, a 5.5-point dog against Rochester, but Tennessee is in the red zone as Action Jackson makes the catch over the middle. Dynamite McCray with the tackle. First down, Tennessee. The Ramblers are putting something together offensively. Was looking at the updated standings today as Mark Anthony can't come down with that pass on the sideline, and Mears is dropped in the backfield. Looking at the updated standings, not a single team would make the playoffs at 500 or below. Each conference has exactly 8 teams above 500 right now, and of course 8 teams make the UFL playoffs. Maurice Stokes got that handoff for Tennessee in the red zone. How about Emmanuel Blackman, 8 of 9 for 110 yards, a touchdown, and no picks. A lot of teams made adjustments this week. For Portland, who has been red hot and has the football back, they voted to optimize the offense across the board situationally. Portland's offense had actually not been tweaked since week 1, so it had been a while for the Huskies offensively, and so far, so good. End of the first quarter in both Montana and Tennessee. We got 3 teams with states bearing the city name, the normal city name here tonight. Third down and 8 for Rochester. Second and 11 here for George Snyder. He fires into the end zone. That pass is caught for a touchdown. Holding on to it, Max Capone for the score from 17 yards away. This was a tough catch. Defense draped all over him, but it works for Tennessee. They're an extra point away from tying the game, and that's an impressive bounce back for the Ramblers, who are a distant 4th in a very competitive Central Division. Emmanuel Blackman goes deep. That is incomplete after a holding penalty. It's now 2nd down and 20 for Portland. Let's go to Montana, where Matt Wilson is near the 50, and wide open was Evan Wood. The tight end just dropped it. 3rd and 10 coming up for the Pioneers. End of the first quarter in Florida, 14-0 Portland. The shocker of the night thus far. Portland trying to improve to 4-4. Heading into week 10, that pass from Matt Wilson drifts to the sideline, 4 of 6 for 44 yards to start, but Rochester's going to have to punt it away. Blackman is 11 of 13. Playing against a quarterback, Joe Francis, who went a perfect 10 for 10 in their victory over Dallas. Rochester's got to punt it away on a 4th down. This one pretty good to the 14-yard line. There's a positional or a change of possession in Tennessee, and there's a change of possession in Portland. So let's go to St. Louis. Not in the red zone. Koizumi on the carry, picks up a couple, up to 22 yards now on a couple of touches. Blake Green misfires again. Blake Green is 0 of 5. Blake Green so far this season for Montana, 70% completion. Since they traded for Green, he has been the best player in terms of completion percentage on this roster. He also has more touchdowns than either of the two quarterbacks that started earlier this season. This is Jason Williams with a big-time run down the sideline. First down for Montana at the 42. Third down and 8 for St. Louis. Play fake. Blitz coming, and Koizumi goes down. Stood no chance. Francis's pass nearly intercepted. And Joe Francis, after going a perfect 10 for 10 against Dallas, is 0 for 2 so far in this game. Just 2 passes thrown. Florida's offense has not been on the field much. What a sack for Tennessee to get off the field. Francis on a third down and 8 fires to the sideline, wide open to the Portland 47. That's a pickup of 26 yards and a first down. Pass caught by unclaimed wide receiver 2. He's speedy. Lamont Rutledge the second. St. Louis has to kick it away to Tennessee, and the Ramblers will have the football with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time today. .25 to go in the first half, and I think Portland just jumped offside. Oh no, they call that on Florida. A couple of penalties were a big problem in Dallas. They actually had 7 penalties for 59 yards, a UFL record for number of penalties, as Blake Green finally completes a pass over the middle. He's actually completed his last couple. That was Dixon with the catch. Kay struggling to get going in the ground game so far, 11 yards on just 7 carries. Tackle over the middle by Han Tayumi on Dixon. Tennessee's going to have a third down and short coming up, but Florida has entered Portland field position, although it's going to be third and long after back-to-back poor K runs. Third down and 1 for Tennessee. Can they convert, stay on the field? Yeah, they got it. Maurice Stokes with a first down. All right, let's go to another third down and long in Florida. This whole run-pass formula for the Sharks has really not been working. Putting Joe Francis in a lot of third and long situations. He will again fire it down the field. Had a receiver open, but it would have been a tough catch. Portland's defense preserves the shutout. Montana's got the football back, and Everidge takes the opening handoff of that drive for a good gain. George Snyder for Tennessee over the middle, dumps it off. That's Stokes with another catch. Snyder now 6 of 8 is shaking off that early interception. Wow, Mark Anthony took a big-time hit. Let's go back to Tennessee, a second down and 2 for the Ramblers at the 46-yard line. Handoff. Sherman tried to break away, but is actually going to lose some yardage. You could understand the idea. They gave him a pretty generous spot. Forward progress marks him at the line of scrimmage. Second down and 9 for Rochester. And Matt Wilson's pass almost intercepted. That was dangerous. Week 9 just getting underway. As Wilson's pass over the middle is caught to Justin Reside, and Tennessee has moved the ball down to the St. Louis 26. That's unclaimed tight end Darrington Coleman with a beautiful toe tap. Doesn't look like a tight end on that play. There goes Teray Wright for Portland, 56 yards on his first 9 carries. Wright has not played a game with the team this season, but was on the roster last season. One Eric Guger, who was the previous starting tailback, averaged under 4 yards a carry and ceremoniously asked Portland demonstratively in public online on social media for a release. Seemed kind of odd at the time. Deep shot for Matt Wilson, complete to the Montana 37-yard line. 163 yards in the first half for Rochester's offense, but only 7 points to show for it so far. Tennessee has reached the red zone as Maurice Stokes gets the ball down to the 9-yard line. 31 yards on 10 carries for Stokes. Tennessee moving the football 156 yards against St. Louis. 6.5 to go in the first half. Matt Wilson going to take off and run, and Wilson very decisive in the middle of the field to the 22-yard line. That was an adjustment that Rochester made this week. Wanted to focus on Matt Wilson's running ability. Seemed a little unsure of himself through the first half of the season, and this time Matt Wilson much more charismatic in the opening field. Gets it down near the 20. First down and goal at the 3. They'll fake the jet sweep. They'll hand it off to Stokes, and he's got it for the Tennessee touchdown.
Come on, set. 60 or. He's coming.
From 3 yards out, Maurice Stokes. And who would have thunk it? The 3 and the 6 on your Yugo cards are touchdown lengths, not scores on the scoreboard. Tennessee now leads St. Louis as Sauce K on a 3rd down and 2. Can't even get 2 yards. Portland from around the ends as Casey Mears has a first down to the 8 for Rochester. 4th and 1 for Florida, decision time because they are really struggling offensively tonight. And on 4th and 1, they are going to punt the football. Casey Mears takes that handoff to the 6. 14 carries in the first half for 72 yards for Mears. Rochester has been a running show. 4 minutes to go in the first half there. You get Teray Wright's updated numbers in your lower right-hand corner. Handoff, Mears down to the 4. 15 for 74. We'll see how St. Louis will respond. Cincinnati and Dallas coming up in your primetime matchup. Josh Zirkle and Eric Vincent on the call for that matchup. Don't go anywhere. 3rd and goal, Matt Wilson going to take off and run, and Matt Wilson has a touchdown from 4 yards out. It's Wilson's 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. And the improvements to his run game paying off here in the first half as Rochester takes a 13-0 lead over Montana. Meanwhile, Portland continues to chug down the field. Bobby Conley with that last catch. Harrison Quick having a game to forget. 1st and 15 after infraction penalty on St. Louis, and they're behind the 8 ball. You got a lot of low numbers on your card. You're feeling pretty good. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7 already off the board here. Karen Koizumi to the 31-yard line, near a first down. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Rivermen.
Got it. Mike 57. We got to get the ball. D, get the ball right here. Let's go.
Koizumi will drop the throw and finds her receiver. That's Bobby Green.
Let's go.
Karen's 8 of 12 for 74 yards, and St. Louis has crossed the 100-yard threshold. That's Bobby Green's first catch. A holding call on Portland will push them back to 2nd down and 20. Montana and Florida still being blanked here. We'll see what the Silvertips can do with it on their next possession.
18 Gator.
St. Louis is the closest to the 50-yard line, or closest to scoring position. They check that down, not much there. 3rd down and 19. What can Portland do with this? Florida desperate for a stop as Blackman will fire it to the sideline. That one is poked away by the defense. Florida gets the stop. They need a response. Little wide receiver screen to the outside for Montana to start the drive. Blake Green is just 3 of 8. Now Koizumi on the run. Near a first down, 29 yards in the first half so far. And wow, Harrison Quick hit Knight, so hard he lost the ball. Blake Green on a 2nd down and 7, going to take off for Montana. A lot of running room to the Rochester 44-yard line. Nicely done. Junior McCray, 24 yards on his first 3 carries, has not gotten a lot of looks here in the first half. St. Louis is down to the Tennessee 28-yard line, putting together a good drive. They find themselves trailing by 7. Blake Green for Montana. Drops to throw, and lucky that was not intercepted. Blake Green, 3 of 9 for 11 yards in the first half. Clements got a carry, and there's another flag in the Florida game. Is that on Florida again? Now that is 3 penalties. The Sharks, what is going on with the penalty problem? Florida did not have any kind of issues their first handful of weeks, but they have been really struggling as of late in the penalty game. Just bad luck, I suppose. Sauce K takes the handoff. It'll be another 3rd down for Florida. I'm not sure they've converted at all tonight. Koizumi going to take off and run. Has St. Louis into the red zone. Takes a shot at the 20. 3rd and 2 coming up for St. Louis. Florida on a 3rd and 6. Contested catch. Nothing there. Just 2 of 7 for 31 yards. And the Sharks have to punt again. Ugly first half for Florida. 3rd and 2. Nice little check down for Koizumi as Allen wraps up the Montana receiver. That's Hagens over the middle for St. Louis. Picks up a 1st down. Another punt for Florida. They've not made any egregious mistakes here today, but Portland winning the field position game and really dominating the pace of play. Blackman 13 of 16, 145 yards and a touchdown. Koizumi again on the run down to the 10-yard line. 43 yards in the first half on 5 carries. Blake Green looking for someone to get open, and he is thrown down, and I mean thrown down by Palmer, who looked like he was tossing a bowling ball on that sack. 3rd and 17 coming up, and Tennessee also gets a sack, but look up our left-hand corner. Wow. Blake Green demolished. Holy smokes, what a hit. So now 3rd down and 17 for Montana. Can they convert to keep the drive alive? Green just has to take the check down, and maybe they got into field goal range. Rochester will call a timeout. It's 4th down. Koizumi into the end zone, and it's picked at the 3-yard line, just shy of the end zone. Pass intercepted by Dixon, and a rare interception for Koizumi, just her 6th of the season. Looking for wide receiver 1 Central Howes on the sideline. The field goal, by the way, for Montana, up and good. Nicely done. Silvertips from 51 yards out, buries that kick. And Montana's on the board. Portland is inside scoring position of Florida. Let's go to Tennessee, where the Ramblers are trying to get out of their own end zone. Snyder hands it off to Stokes, and he is buried. That's the end of the first half, by the way. In Tennessee, they were too far away from scoring. 35 seconds to go in Montana, so Rochester will have 2 timeouts and a little bit of time to make something happen. Blackman's got 1:08 on the clock, and he goes down. Calhoun with the takedown. Florida with a sack. 2nd and 18 coming up for Portland. They're in no huddle at the Florida 37. Matt Wilson just before the break. Over the middle to the 42-yard line. Timeout Pioneers. They have one remaining. Tennessee taking a 14-7 lead into the locker room against St. Louis with that late second quarter interception. 2nd and 18 for Blackman. And he just chucks it to the sideline. No gain on the play, but it will stop the clock. 3rd and long coming up for Portland to be a 54-yard field goal from here. Matt Wilson on a play fake, gonna take a deep shot. One-on-one, he underthrew it. Had Dejon Swan wide open and underthrew the pass. Blackman on a 3rd and 17. That is very close. Down to the 20-yard line. It's going to be 4th and 1 for Portland and a decision time for the Huskies. Wilson to the sideline. That is caught. And again, Rochester able to stop the clock. 18 seconds preserve the timeout to the Montana 43-yard line. 4th and 1. Portland's going to kick it. I don't blame them for that decision with the way that their defense has been playing so far today. 37-yard field goal for Portland is up and good. That's our 10th called number of the night. 18 seconds left for Rochester. That's in the field of play, and that's going to incur a 10-second runoff. Not what Rochester was looking for there. 56 yards is quite the distance to kick the field goal. We'll see if Rochester feels like they have the leg. I'm not so sure. The longest field goal this season is 58 yards. And Rochester's kicker nowhere near the record books, and the offense will stay on the field. It looks like Rochester's just going to play it safe with an 11-point lead. And there you see Casey Mears with a carry. If Rochester was losing by 11, they definitely would have taken a shot. But winning by 11, you don't want to do anything too risky. Rochester takes an 11-point lead into the locker room. Tony D just needs a couple numbers for a diagonal win tonight. Rochester more rushing yards than passing yards so far, 125. Final 30 seconds of the half, and Joe Francis completes the ball to the 34. Florida is down to one timeout. St. Louis's defense gets a stop on their opening possession, so they'll have the football down 14-7 with 10:10 to go in the third quarter. Koizumi, 10 of 15, 79 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
Here we go. 60 outlaw.
If you missed our league leaders from the first 8 weeks, they're back up on the screen. Joe Francis, 20 seconds left, gonna hurl it deep down the field. Incomplete. Good effort, though. Francis, 3 of 9 for 42 yards after he was a perfect 10 for 10 on Mother's Day. In prime time, I might add.
70, Indy. Let's go, tight end. Let's go right here now. Hit it.
Koizumi going to be sacked. And Florida handed the ball off. I don't really understand that. They take their final timeout, but that was a little surprising by the Sharks. Maybe they wanted to make sure that Portland was not going to get another crack at this. Portland has been pretty explosive in this first half. Florida all out of sorts after just playing valiantly in Dallas. Koizumi's got a first down. Francis, 1 second. And now it's 4th down, so Portland will get a bite at the apple. Hagens with the catch for St. Louis, got a first down. How about Payne Price? 884 yards so far this season. You will see the Wildcats here on game night hosting Denver. On Friday night, boy, do the Denver Avengers have a tough task in that one. Punt is away for the Sharks. That will end the half as this ball will dribble into the end zone. Junior McCray, 5 carries, 27 yards, sets up a 2nd down and 9 for St. Louis, but it's been Tennessee's offense controlling the pace in that one. Jason Williams on his 9th carry, picks up 51 yards. Montana hanging around here against the Pioneers, but down 11. Junior McCray with that last catch. Sidestepped out of bounds to set up a 3rd down and 9, 2nd and inches. Play action wide open. Montana down to the Rochester 30-yard line. Nice pass from Blake Green, who's up to 8 of 14. Remember, he was 0 for 5. So 8 of his last 9 have been complete, including that one to Kay Marion. And Karen Koizumi on 3rd down and 9 is ruled 2 yards short, looking for Bobby Green. It's within the realm of possibility that St. Louis might go for this. Kay Marion leading the league in receiving yards through 8 weeks, 803. Congrats to her. A lot of talent on that receiver board. Handoff to Williams running left. Not much space there. Bring up 2nd down for Rochester. 4th and 2. It looks like St. Louis is going to kick the field goal. This is a 43-yard field goal attempt for St. Louis, and that kick is good. And I think, yeah, Tony needed a 41 for Tony. That kick is good. St. Louis trims the deficit, but Tennessee keeps their lead. 14-10, 6:53 to go. In the 3rd, what a move for Montana, touchdown! That is unclaimed wide receiver 2, Jermichael Dixon, with a phenomenal run after catch. Skirts by a couple of Pioneer defenders. And in for the touchdown. That one was from 31 yards out. And Montana is going for 2 to try to make it a 3-point game. That pass is incomplete right at the goal line. That'll give us 9 off the board. Good defense right at the sticks for Rochester. 6-play, 73-yard drive, though, for Montana. Makes it 14-9. Tennessee's got the football up 14-10, and Florida still being blanked as they have on their first possession of the second half, and that was a wide open receiver, again underthrown. Joe Francis, 4 for 12. And Florida on a 3rd and long again has to punt it away. Just misery. Oh, Cain Vasquez just needs a 21 for a bingo. He's got a couple of golden opportunities. Action Jackson across the 50 for Tennessee might be his closest one. Rochester could also get a touchdown and score. Florida's got to punt it away.
Let's go.
All right, let's see. Let's go to Tennessee, closest to scoring position. Into St. Louis territory, up by 4. Ramblers 4th in the Central, behind St. Louis, Wichita, and Dallas. And George Snyder's got a completion inside the 30. There's a fumble. It is picked up by Tennessee. Fields with the recovery. We got to get another look at that. Lower left-hand corner. Max Capone turns. And he looked down to me. 2nd and 5. Rochester's got a first down. And Portland's up near midfield as well with another completion. That's Blackman's 19th.
Go now. 18 Gator. Mike, number 53. Mike, 53.
4:35 to go in the 3rd. There is no review. Tennessee recovered that fumble, and now Tennessee is in the red zone. Matt Wilson again taking off and running, his 3rd carry of the day for 27 yards. Tennessee trying to expand on this lead, trying to get Cain Vasquez a Yugo.
That's right, baby. They don't want it.
Blackman completes another. Snyder going to take off and run. Snyder inside the 5 and down to the 5-yard line officially for a Tennessee first down with 3:50 to go in the third. Dijon Swan up to 4 catches for 56 yards. Somehow we've missed him over the course of this broadcast, but playing well. Rochester back in Montana territory. Ooh, Saeed Gore just needs a 5. And that's where we are right now for Tennessee. 3:28 to go in the third. Handoff, Maurice Stokes. Touchdown, Tennessee from 5 yards away. Rochester inside the red zone. Answering the Montana touchdown drive with potentially one of their own, now down to the 17-yard line. And the run game for Rochester continues to rip up the Silvertips. Kane just needs an extra point. Tennessee up 11. Extra point is good. And now I think we can officially put the St. Louis Rivermen on upset watch. Rochester down to the 1-yard line. That was so close to being a score. Anderson with the catch. Wilson really heating up today. Portland's across the 50 again. Florida still drowning. Although they did just get a stop. Portland will punt it away. Wow, it's a great pylon cam. Honestly, that almost looked like a touchdown for Rochester. That was very close.
Here we go. Set. 10-2 stop.
Out of the shotgun, first and goal at the 1. For Wilson, going to try to toss it. Matt Wilson, back of the end zone, incomplete. Card 24 for Saeed Gore.
Come on, set. 8, read.
I think I may have missed some numbers. 1 second. At the 1-yard line, second and goal for Rochester. Going to throw again. That is caught. Touchdown. Pioneers go up 20-9. Karen Koizumi back on the run again. 61 yards on 6 carries for Karen so far today. And Rochester was bound and determined to get a score. Yeah, card number 24, Saeed. I don't have you. You need 4 corners or a diagonal. I only have you for 2 corners. You know what I'm missing? Extra point for Rochester is good. 21-9. Pioneers over the Silvertips, and what a response from Rochester after Montana gets their first touchdown of the day. Koizumi taking on Dexter Jackson, and Joe Francis is sacked. Another second and long coming up for Florida. Their first down offense has been a big problem today. Let's go to Tennessee, where it's 2nd down and 3, St. Louis. Koizumi's pass caught into traffic, but a nice ball. Kane Vasquez is card 13. Yes, diagonal from left to right, bottom to top. That is a good Hugo. Vasquez is our first confirmed. Russell mentioning that Tennessee's been playing better with their new quarterback. You're absolutely right, and he is unclaimed. George Snyder in his 3rd start has a better QBR than Ryan Davis did. Completing more passes. Completion percentage up to 69% from 65 when Davis was the starter. Koizumi down the field inside the 20. Homer J wide open. Just like that, St. Louis is back in the red zone and threatening against Tennessee. Yeah, I think Florida needs to go back to the drawing board on first down because it's really been killing them their third down offense has been very difficult to succeed. They've been in third and long almost the entire game, as Francis's pass is caught at the 40. No way. Lower right-hand corner of your screen, that's the first grab for Michael Joseph. Junior McCray almost scored his 11th touchdown. Look at this again, lower right. Yeah, Joseph got it. That's a great catch, and somehow Florida gets out of a 3rd and 17 jam. 2nd and 1 at the 5 at the end of the third quarter. They toss it, and the league's leader in rushing touchdowns has another. Junior McCray's 11th of the season, and St. Louis is back within 5. That was another 5-yard score. Draw on 1st and 10. Sauce K, 48 yards on 15 carries. 2nd and 6 coming up. St. Louis going for 2, and Koizumi takes off and runs. And that gets 18 off the board. That's the end of the third quarter. So St. Louis cuts the deficit to just 3 after their 2-point conversion is good. We got a good one in Tennessee, 21-18. Jones with a nice catch from Joe Francis. Florida at the Portland 33-yard line, finally getting something moving offensively. A 3rd down and 5 coming up for Rochester. Wilson's pass well short of the sticks. Montana gets a stop. Tony D needs 41 off his card. Snyder takes off and runs, not much there. All right, 4th down, punt. Let's go. We got another 1st down. Florida is knocking on the door of the red zone here. Oh, this punt. Oh, it just sneaked into the end zone. Wow. Maurice Stokes takes the handoff. What a joke. Stokes, unclaimed, 75 yards to the house. Tennessee back up by 9. Whoa, untouched. The longest run of the season for anyone on Tennessee was 37 yards. And nobody lays a finger on Maurice Stokes from 75 yards. The Rambler fans loving it, especially after that heartbreaking double overtime loss they suffered to Minnesota just last week. Now they're back up by 10 as Francis tried to squeeze that one in. It's now 4th down. Florida will likely kick a field goal and get that goose egg off the board, but St. Louis got to be shocked a little bit. Down 10 again with 11:15 to go in the 4th. Back to Montana, 21-9. Williams takes the handoff up to 55 yards on 12 carries, a critical 3rd and 2 coming up there. That's a 40-yard field goal. Oh, Tony, I'm so sorry. 40-yard field goal for Florida. And they are finally on the board. Still a game there, 17-3. Sharks hanging around as they often do. Not only did they get a new quarterback, Kane, but Maurice Stokes is also new to the roster. Stokes, in just his 3rd start, averaging just 3.6 yards a carry so far this season, which is actually under Rocket Davis's average. But I think that average is going to go up after that monster run. End of the third quarter in Montana. Rochester protecting a 12-point lead. Montana's got the football back. All right, let's go back to Tennessee, where St. Louis is one of 3 teams with just 1 loss this season, and the only one in the Eastern Conference with 1 loss. So your number 1 seed in the East down 10, but that pass is complete to Higgins. Over the middle to the Tennessee 48-yard line, first down for St. Louis. Dakota and Salt Lake, the other 1-loss teams. Dakota will be in Cleveland on Friday for game night. Salt Lake coming off of that thrilling goal line stand against Wichita in prime time on Monday. It's going to be third down coming up for Montana. They are down 12. They're within the realm of potentially going for it here if they don't get it. Koizumi over the middle, looking for Jay. 19 of 24, 197 yards. Portland on a second down and 1. And Teray Wright cannot get out of the backfield. Florida's defense trying to stand tall. Remember, Florida's defense gave up 2 touchdowns on the opening 2 drives of this game. Portland's offense has not found the end zone since. Koizumi on a third down, check down. It's going to be, it's 3rd and 5. I stand corrected. Big third down coming up for St. Louis. Tennessee probably playing from top to bottom their best game of the season. 4th and 6, Montana's going for it. Blake Green, all kinds of time in the pocket, and he threw it to nobody. Well, Marion is on the sideline. That is rough for Montana. Where is Marion? Is Marion standing at a bound? What was that? Jason Williams upset. That is a rarity from the best receiver in the league. Montana fails to execute, and Rochester will take over. Matt Wilson having a solid day. Portland's got a punt again. And I think Koizumi just took a sack on 3rd down. She did, wow, and that was a punishing hit. Rochester a first down. I think St. Louis will punt this away on 4th and very long now. We're into the 4th quarter in Florida. Portland up 14, but the Sharks still in this thing. 4th and 10, St. Louis will have to punt. What a sack for Tennessee. This punt is going to put them at the 1. The officials mark it down to the 1-yard line. Wilson still slinging it. That's Justin Reside with that catch. Montana needs a stop or they're in danger of letting this one get away from them. Montana 3 and 5 coming in. They lost 28-23 last time they were in this building to Phoenix. A heartbreaker. Mears dropped in the backfield. Tennessee is standing at their own 1-yard line. And they're going play action. Snyder, keeper to the 4. That was a gutsy play call there from Tennessee. Now Francis has a first down. Another 3rd down attempt for Florida. 3rd and 5 this time. That's Rutledge the second with his 4th grab. Still 11 minutes left in that one. Stokes takes the handoff to the 5. 3rd and 5 coming up for Tennessee. Trying to put this thing away. Hopkins with his 7th tackle. 3rd down and 7 for Rochester just outside the red zone. Wilson stepping up in the pocket, going into the end zone. That pass is incomplete. Trying to hit Everidge on a wheel route. Nice throw from Snyder. Did Tennessee just pick that up? First down to Fields. Snyder against a blitz, got rocked, and then Fields able to break away from a tackle. Dynamite McCray in coverage. That is a total mismatch for Tennessee. And Fields, way down the depth chart, makes probably the best play of the season. Fields 28 catches for 296 yards and a touchdown coming into the game. Tennessee survives the shadow of their goal line, and it's a first down now to the 24. Rochester just had to settle for a field goal. That field goal was from 39 yards out. just toying with that potential 41 winner that I know Tony's got out there. That's our 18th called number of the night. Tennessee's got the football with 6:20 left. Trying to run out this clock, and a face mask on St. Louis will help Tennessee out now to their own 38-yard line. This drive started on the 1. Montana's defense keeps the Silvertips alive. Florida is still alive. They have the ball, down 2 scores. Montana has the ball, down 2 scores. All games are in the fourth quarter. Tennessee trying to keep St. Louis's offense off the field. John Zirkle having some fun with the Rambler persona. Blake Green, middle, and good hands. The 41-yard line, 8-yard gain. Shout out to the defenders playing in today's game. E.K. Vincent, Joe Allen, Han Tayumi, Maple Mack, Dynamite McCray, Mike Rodick, Dexter Jackson, Joey Duncan II, Harrison Quick, Elijah Quick, first down for Florida. Montana's got a first down to the Rochester 36-yard line. That one picked up 23 yards to Dixon, 6 for 73 now. And on 3rd down and 1, Tennessee goes pass and hits Stokes for a first down. The Ramblers are just making all the right plays right now. 1 yard's all you need. Stokes sits down right at the one of the 3 stars from the Tennessee flag at the middle of the field. 1st and 10, 9:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Francis getting hot. There's a penalty. Green on a dump down, and it's a face mask. The pass was incomplete, but Portland called for a flag, and that is going to put Florida in the red zone at the 17-yard line.
Automatic first down.
Oh, Ethan Flowers, emergency surgery last night. Hope you're okay, bud. We'll see you Friday in prime time. Y'all host Austin. Hand off to Stokes, and Maurice Stokes gets away. Picks up 15 yards. 22 carries, 144 yards for Stokes today.
Ready, break. 53, check 53. Keep it up, defense. Keep it up, guys. 53. 53
Florida in the red zone. Hand off to Jones. Down to the 6-yard line. 144 is now in the top 25 this season, and Stokes now up to 145. This drive for Tennessee started on their own 1-yard line. They have chewed about 5 minutes off this clock. There was a fumble in the Montana game, but it's been reviewed and overturned, so Montana will retain possession. Montana on a 2nd down and 5. Stokes gets away, another first down. Blake Green is sacked back at the 40-yard line. Play fake, Joe Francis lost the ball, picked up by Florida. Back at the 12. 2nd and goal for the Sharks, going backwards. Maurice Stokes has taken over for Tennessee. Man, and this is the performance the Ramblers have been hoping for this season. They have played a complete football game here today, down to just 2:12 to go in the fourth. First down and 10, Tennessee. They'll throw it on a little RPO. That is caught down to the 14-yard line. Florida, handoff Sauce K, down to the 5. Montana still with the football, down to the Rochester 27-yard line. Both Florida and Montana trailing by 2 scores with possession. Florida 3rd down and goal. Francis throwing into the end zone, but the receiver was out of bounds. Stokes has another first down for Tennessee. This is an unbelievable drive.
Here we go.
Now it's 4th and goal for Florida after another penalty. Francis looking, firing, intercepted. Portland going back the other way. Rutledge trying to catch him. Rutledge drags him down at the 6. Montana's in the red zone. What a play for Portland. The first turnover of the day for Florida. What a disaster. And you could see the receiver in the back of the end zone waving to Joe Francis that he's open, and Francis missed him. 2nd and goal. Snyder going to take off and run. Tennessee still with the football. Fumble! Fumble! Rochester just scooped it up. And the big man's going to score a touchdown. Unbelievable. Palmer on a huge hit on Blake Green. Can we get another look at the hit? Oh, Blake Green destroyed, and then it was caught midair. So Portland's in the red zone trying to put the game away. But folks, this is an unbelievable development in the Tennessee-St. Louis game. It's 4th and goal, but Tennessee effectively has had the ball the entire 4th quarter. Ever since they got that stop on St. Louis. This is a 21-yard field goal and makes it 31-18, so that doesn't do anything for the Yugo players out there. We're still stuck on 18 numbers. Unbelievable drive for Tennessee. I failed to record the drive summary there, but that may have been the longest drive of any team this season. All right, let's go 3rd and goal for Portland now. They're up 14, and Blackman's pass, only his 5th incompletion of the day, sails out of the back of the end zone, but the damage has already been done. Rochester's defense with a wicked hit on Green will put Montana deep in the hole with 5 minutes to go. Green otherwise has played pretty well, 20 of 30, but just 163 yards, has not been able to take the top off of this Pioneer defense. Now, why should 28 be listed? Oh, was that was Rochester, right? Rochester going up, no? Where's the 28? How did I miss 28? So Portland kicks a field goal. Makes it 20-3. Blake Green hit as he threw again. Now it's Koizumi with the football, and that one goes into the dirt. Down 13, 1:04 to go, no timeouts, an extremely desperate situation for the Rivermen. 28 was Tennessee. Green over the middle. We're almost under 5 to go in all these games. Oh, yeah, 28 for Tennessee. Yeah, you guys are right. That was the long touchdown run from Stokes. Koizumi down the sideline. That is caught at the 47. Blake Green taking a shot. And double cover to the back of the end zone. That's incomplete. 4th and 2 coming up for Montana. 4:10 to go. No huddle for St. Louis. They are running out of time. This has been an impressive quarter for Tennessee. An impressive game for the Ramblers. They are about to pull one of the biggest upsets of the season and improve to 3-6 on the year. St. Louis, the #1 record in the Eastern Conference, will fall to 6-2 unless they come up with a miracle. That ties Cincinnati, who plays at Dallas coming up in prime time. Josh Zirkel and Eric Vincent on the call. St. Louis only has one more play left in him. Joe Francis going to take off and run down to 4:21 to go in the 4th quarter in Florida.
Hurry. Mike 5-4.
Kane is saying that he has another bingo. And yeah, with the 20 off the board for Portland as that one into the back of the end zone goes into the stands. I think Cain Vasquez has just made UFL history. He just won bingo twice, and no one else has a bingo tonight. Annie Beaverhausen saying that she's got one, card number 2. And yeah, the 4 corners. Nicely done on the 20th call number, Annie. And it has gone final in Tennessee. It's 4th and 3 for Florida at the Portland 25-yard line. Desperate times, and it's dropped. Wow. Florida a mess. Tennessee upset St. Louis tonight 31-18, and that certainly makes things very interesting in the Eastern Conference. There are now 4 teams with 2 losses at the top of the Eastern Conference, as averages 9th carry for 51 yards, gets Rochester a first down. A complete game tonight for the Pioneers. They will go a half game ahead of New York once again in the Metro Division, just barely holding off the Lightning right now. Hand off to Teray Wright as Portland and Rochester play out the stretch. Rochester didn't get the playoff in time. 2:13 left in that one. 3:23 left in Florida. Well, it's been a fun night so far. Hope everybody is enjoying themselves here tonight. And reset your Yugo cards and check out Prime Time with Josh Zirkle and Eric Vincent coming up tonight, Cincinnati and Dallas. Should be a great one. Battle of a pair of 2 lost teams in the East that are joining St. Louis in that mix after the St. Louis Rivermen fall tonight, 31-18. What a performance for Tennessee. They have won 2 of their last 3 in their only loss in double overtime. Ramblers playing some good football right now, trying to climb themselves back into not necessarily the division picture, but the playoff picture in the East. Florida forces a 4th down, and Rochester's back in the red zone with 1:52 to go. Now, Rochester's still going to run their normal offense because Montana is not going to be calling timeouts. Why would they not be calling timeouts where they're down by more than 16 late in the 4th quarter, inside 2 minutes? And so basically we say just play out the stretch because the game is most certainly over. Sauce K better in the second half, 41 yards on 6 carries, but it's not going to do Florida any good now. They were really put in some terrible positions on 3rd down because of 1st and 2nd down tonight. That was really the problem for the Sharks. Matt Wilson going to throw for it. It is caught for a touchdown. The Pioneers pouring it on. Justin Reside, a late score.
Hurry. Let's go. Hurry up.
For Justin Reside, that's his first touchdown of the season. Congrats to Justin and the Rochester Pioneers, who have taken it to Montana tonight. That play is under review, but should be good to go.
60 Pittsburgh.
2:12 left for Florida.
Pick it up.
Yet another 3rd and long, and Francis pass incomplete, so now it's 4th down. 17 of 37 passing tonight for the Sharks. Saeed talking about Austin creeping back in, absolutely. Taking on Vegas in the biggest game of Austin's season on Friday night. The extra point is good for Rochester, so that's 38 off the board. And we're going to get a number on that touchdown pass.
Come on, set. 10 Lobo. Coming to you.
Well, that was just from 7 yards out, so that's not going to do much for you Yugo players. Pass caught over the middle, and Florida still playing hard. 2 minutes to go.
Good work, boys. Let's go.
Well, for the first time in as long as I can remember, we might not have any games on game night finish as a one-score game. In fact, it might be a UFL first that has not happened. Rochester and Portland getting road blowout wins, and Montana has taken this to the house. It's a kick return touchdown, the first in UFL history. And despite the loss, what a night for JaMychal Dixon, unclaimed. A receiving touchdown and a kick return touchdown for Montana. And the Silvertips get a little window dressing on this one. Joe Francis inside the 10 to Sauce K down to the 7-yard line. Extra point for Montana is good. That'll get 16 off the board. Florida, 105 left, down 3 scores, playing out the stretch in this one, maybe trying to get a touchdown in the fourth quarter just like they did against Dallas. Second and goal. Joe Francis looking for someone and tosses it on a check down, but it actually lost 3 yards. Sauce K just sitting in no man's land. Florida even struggling in the no huddle here. 38 seconds left. Onside kick for Montana is scooped up. Joe Francis, 3rd down and goal, fires into the end zone. Way overthrown, incomplete, 4th and goal. So 38-16 Rochester over Montana after that kick return touchdown by JaMychal Dixon. 4th and goal for Florida. .107 left. Montana has all 3 timeouts, so normal offense for Rochester, but that game is almost done. 4th and goal, 28 seconds left for Florida. Joe Francis trying to make magic happen. Picked off at the goal line. On the return, no one's going to catch him. And that just about sums up Joe Francis's evening. A bounce back for the Huskies. Bledsoe with a pick 6, and Portland goes back to the Pacific Northwest with a 4-4 record. The Huskies surprising people. 26 seconds left in Montana. Everett's going to get another carry, up to 10 for 57. And the Pioneers will have one last shot at it. 38-16 over Montana. Very impressive victory. And both Portland and Rochester use big-time defensive plays in scoring position to cap off thrilling victories. 38-16 Rochester tops Montana. 13 seconds left. And this extra point matters. It is good because that is a 27 off the board, as we haven't had any games inside of one score down the stretch, so we've been able to honor those late-breaking Hugo wins. That is the 23rd number off the sheet of the night. 27-3. Portland emphatically shutting the door on Florida. 4-4 are the Huskies. A sleeper team in the North Division. Montana will drop behind them, and Portland moves into second place in that Northern Division. 2.5 games back of Dakota. 10 seconds left for Florida.
And 2 stop. 54, right there. 54.
8 seconds left.
Come on, D. Get it. Let's go.
Francis has a receiver open, and on the last play, scores a touchdown. Wow. A 70-yard score on the final play. And this is big because 10 has not been called tonight. So an extra point, are they gonna make him kick? Are they gonna get a chance to kick the extra point? Or is that just gonna be game over here? 70-yard score on the final play. I didn't have that coming out of Florida. Wow.
On the ready.
And, Florida's going to go for 2. 9 is already off the board. 11 is not. Florida going for 2 because why not? And nothing. So nothing comes off the board there late. And we can safely cue the outro. Portland and Florida's final stats available on their live game on the videos section or later this week on UFL.football. That's a wrap from Game Night. Your final scores tonight: Rochester 38, Montana 16. Tennessee pulls the upset over St. Louis and beats the Rivermen 31-18 at home in front of their fans. And Florida, despite 304 passing yards, lost the turnover battle again. And Portland pummels the Sharks 27-3. UFL Primetime coming up next with Cincinnati and Dallas, 2 of the top teams in the East. Josh Sturkle and Eric Vincent have the call of that one. From all of us at Game Night, I'm UFL co-founder Cameron Irvine. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Primetime coming up next.